Welcome to the Lost Lives account, where we tell you victims in horror movies, anime, TV shows, music videos, TV shows, episodes that sneak up horror elements without a single scream, plus action flicks, music videos, and beyond. I am your host, William Prouty, and no, I'm still not the Antichrist. Welcome. We're diving into Damien the Omen II, released in 1978. The sequel takes place 7 years later. Wait, 7 years? Is the original actor of Damien still playing? No. Damien now a teenager, but it takes place 7 years later, but now we have a new actor, Jonathan Scott, who this is his major role. With some actors that actually go on to much bigger roles, but some actors that actually stay in roles. And we actually have a director that actually do a horror role. Don Taylor, who actually passed away in 1998, bless his heart, but who actually did The Island of Dr. Moreau. I will actually cover it in a horror review, but the reason why I can't cover it in Lives Lost count is for one reason and one reason only. The Island of Dr. Moreau is about these alien hybrids, and I do not want to get more detail because, well, so how many lives lost did Damien claim as a team discover his dark destiny? Let's find out and get to the numbers. The movie begins with the 20th Century Fox logo and a Harvey Byrne production. Honestly, Harvey Byrne production actually did the original, so I'm glad he associated with Mesa Nerdfield. It's over Jerusalem with a yellow title card. This is take place 7 years ago, before our original story take place, and we actually meet Booga Hagen, who actually played by Leo McKern, who is the original actor who actually returns in the freaking franchise. But Hagen's real name is actually Carl, which is actually in the original, but we never know his real name until the sequel. And Michael and Hagen, Carl actually told him that about what actually happened in the last movie, that he actually gave Damien the sacred daggers, the sacred knives, and want to finish the job and get to the wall of Yiggerall. Carl shows appear, but the raven appears. Okay, this is going to be. I'm going to tell you later, but instead of the dogs, it's ravens, and the ravens are the reference to another horror franchise, and the ravens attack like another franchise with a lot of birds. And they enter and they see the Whore of Babylon and the 10 Kings. And the painted Damon, and it's him. And they're trapped inside their own graves. Because they're both buried at 925. Honestly, the Lost Lives call Day. Honestly, both of them actually lost their lives to be buried alive in the collapse. The attention kicked because Carl was actually a skeptic journalist, and Michael was an agent chamber and a biblical dread. But what actually happened is, after seeing Damon, the wall of rubble and the body were lost 7 years, and Buhagen's final words was a desperate warning to the world. And cue the. But the Yoyerheg is about 13th century monk named Uriel. I'm sorry not to mention. Allegedly driven mad by the Antichrist medium, the fresco, and engulfed by the jackal hellfire. A timeline that the physical of evolution of the childhood of Damien to the teenhood dominance. And the final image is Damien staring a viewer that actually part proxy and part accusation. Buhagen believe that this mural is a smoking gun to Damien identity. After cold death, fragments were discovered to be shipped the painting and is cracked, a deep face erase and the runway tray obliterate the container and erase the evil its own. You know the flashing Damien face across the screen, that glitch mimicking the evil identity? Add a subtle demonic whisper. Honestly, it takes 7 years, and see you next. He said, "See you next summer, Jim." And now he say he lived with his uncle Richard and Thorn and his cousin Mark Thorn. Mark is actually and they actually have to say goodbye to it there at Marion. But Aunt Marion is very nice to just Mark, not Marion. But she got a good argument. Mark and Marion were arguing, but honestly, to tell you the truth, they're on their way to the military academy, and Marion want to separate them, but Mark and are not arguing; they are bickering because Marion actually hate them now. Marion want Damien away from Mark, and honestly, I don't blame him. He's the Antichrist. She can actually sense the evil. Now, we know why Robert actually wanted to kill Damien. And wants her to out in the morning. Marion does her makeup. Richard does it everything. And honestly, the 10 Kings and the Whore of Babylon. The story goes is the 10 Kings will strip the whore naked of her clothes and skin and burn her. I wish I could make this up. And also, I am a Christian. I will say this. Please don't judge me for doing this movie, this franchise. Now Charles, Richard doesn't like interviews. Crows appear and Marion dies of a heart attack. Honestly, the reason why I hate the heart attack deaths is because, well, take Anna the Apocalypse, which I will actually recount. Because I like musicals and this death was actually counted 9 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, William Holden, who actually played Richard Thorn, is in Sunset Forgone Saga 17. He actually won an Oscar, the Bridge, River, and Network. Lee Grant is a Oscar winner who actually won Shampoo. In Shampoo, In the Heat of the Night, Valley of the Dolls, and Mulholland Drive. Scott Taylor, Damien Thorn is in The Mill of the Frost, Triangle, Shady Troubles. Robert Foxworth play Paul Baller, is in Foxcrest, 6 Feet Under. He actually voiced Pratchett in Transformers. Nicholas Pryor, Chris Warner, he played Risky Business, Less Than Zero Planes, and Beverly Hills 902.210. Lou Bill, who actually played Bill Allred, All the Quiet Western Forces, Johnny Alterman, and Dr. Karen series. Sylvia Audra, who actually played Aunt Marion. Oh my god! She's in Beetlejuice, Sabotage, Dead End, and Mars Attacks. If anybody wants a Mars Attack Lives Lost count, let me know. Lance Erickson plays Sergeant Neff. He's actually is in Aliens, Terminator, Millennium, and Pumpkin and Quick and Dead. Elizabeth Shepard, who actually played Joan Hart, is Tomb of the Ligren, Hellboats, the Cleopatras, and Amelia. Lucas Don played Mark. His major role is just like Damien in the Omen II, as son of Mitchell in Learn. Leon Hardy, who actually played Michael Morgan, is in Get Carter, Propulsion, The Hill, and original lead in the Avenger TV show. Leo Kern, who actually played Carl Burheg, is in Rappel Rupple of the Bailey, Man of All Seasons, and The Omen, and Ryan's Daughter. We already know about The Omen. Mitchell Taylor, who also played Dr. Kane, is in Designer Women, Mannequin, Dave's World, and Criminal Minds. Alan Abid, played Harrison, is in Mass at Dr. Sidney Freeman, Coffee, and Gracer Paris. Fritz Ford, who actually played Murray, is in Lampoon's National Lampoon's Vacation, Mr. Roberts. Stuntworks for Planet of the Apes and Solid Green. Honestly, the 10 in Renovation 17 and 13, a Scarlet Beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, written by a woman called Babylon the Great, the symbol of the corruption of the world. The 10 horns of the 10 kings, not the of the kingdom, which for the that actually do. The prophecy twisted, and the same of the king that hate the whore, make it her desolate and burn with fire, corrupt power, devour itself when the beast is no longer. Honestly, the film actually framed the statue, and the future king suggests a political religious coalition, empower the Antichrist before it turn on its host. Visualize a film of the Damien's identity in apocalyptic prophecy. Artifacts as evidence the modern world is cited to Revelation. Use the horror as sure has seductive system, wealth, empire, and influence. The 10 kings machinery power of that first elevate Damien when it clear obstacles by burning the old order. The crow flies away, and Mark and Damien are marching. This is actually the Davis Military Academy. They actually meet Nerf, a new teacher. Yeah, and Damien's new apostle. He want to make everybody shine and want to meet them after breakfast. He actually meet Damien and Mark first, and Richard parks at the Thorn building. It's actually Bill want to talk about Paul and his quality, and they hear from Marion until she walk in and see that she actually died. Well, like what actually happened. Okay. Damien actually doesn't know her power, and they actually do a bug killer. Bill says it's illegal, but they actually feed millions, Paul said. And Richard got a phone call, and he actually found out and Winter is winter is here. Teddy actually needs to shut his mouth about Damien's dad because Damien hates his dad because what happened? He tried to kill him. Mark actually fight Teddy, and while Nerf gave him guidance as his apostle, Damien used his power. Without realizing it, Teddy kissed glass because of Damien's power. Foster walks in and they were asked to leave by Nerf. And Mark and Damien go, and Mark asks what he did to Teddy, and Damien didn't know. Now Richard walks about the exhibits and throwing a birthday party for Mark. He slides with Bill into instead of Paul. Murray lets someone into the museum. Let Joan into the limo, but Joan Hart actually stopped and asked about call. Okay, what actually? Honestly, Joan Hart is actually Keith Jennings' underling, who actually, well, wondering where is Keith Jennings and why he did not make it back. He actually told Richard a warning, and she actually got pissed, and now the statue of the Babylon, the horror Babylon and the 10 Kings was actually going to be for. And honestly, Joan stopped by with Charles, and she asked about Damien, and honestly, Charles stopped her because, well, she actually doesn't know, and she actually, after she asked about Damien and saw him, she actually realized that it's actually him, and she actually drive, and her car start working. Then the crow attack. Then the raven attack. It attack and out. But a semi-truck, she can't see and get hit by a semi at 39 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay, what actually happened? After, honestly, she actually crawled a road and she actually got crushed by him. Honestly, what actually happened in the first movie? Rottweilers were in the first movie as a omen of Damien's power, but as he got older, ravens are his role. Honestly, Joan role, but a few active to try to expose her identity. Her death was trying as a key truth, but like Buheg and Michael Morgan from earlier, her recital of the Lord Prayer and hunted by a crow evoke mantra, Myra, faith crushed by evil. The scene is infamous by the ice cream and Moment Brew. While the credits for Raven Trainers aren't broadly documented, film era often employ specialized handlers build and honestly flapping. But if you're actually wondering who is the handler for the birds, it's none other than the original handler for the birds from Hitchcock the Birds. The close-up attacks are enhanced by prosthetics and clever editing. The bird's aggressive behavior is simulated to use creative sound effects. For safety of the actor, John Hart or Elizabeth Shepard would have rehearsed with a bird under controlled conditions. The ravens become signature motif in the sequel, replace the Rottweiler from a Omen. Its eerie presence, the brutal attack at a gothic layer to fans, horror fans that still stick with fans today. Honestly, it's actually winter. It's actually snowing time. Snowmobiles, snowball fights. It's also Mark's birthday, and for him to make a wish. Paul, and honestly, who else is? Well, honestly, Paul is actually his apostle too. Honestly, to tell you the truth, he talking about him to do what he can for the president and make sure his destiny is a rise up to power. And Mark said, "Come on, it's fireworks," and honestly, it's a happy birthday, and they actually sing happy birthday, and they actually do a ice hockey. And what actually happened is, well, Bill Goss weapon to the current and drowned in the frozen lake at 48 seconds. A raven was perched watch at the tree in Damien the Omen II acts the harbinger of death that fatal end. Bill was occurred opposed Paul Harder, unethical agriculture. His death removed a moral obstacle to David's rise of power. The eyesight of Muse trapped the playful moments of mouse and visualize. He's dies, and Richard upset. Paul is now the new president that Brian is actually due, and okay, this is what actually happened. In school, Damien was laughing and talking about everything from every dates. He actually know everything, even Napoleon, Abraham Lincoln, and know all the deaths. And the nerve say what you're doing, and he don't want to try to get attention, and he need to read the 13th chapter of Revelation and march it down. And I won't say all that because everybody know what I actually was. I would actually put the whole Bible verse in my Lives Lost count, But it actually means everybody will bear the mark of the beast. But that one man that will bear the mark of the beast, 666. 666. And Damien actually found the mark on the back of his head. He actually found it, and he actually ran, and he actually, Mark said what's wrong, and Nerf knows. And he actually keep running, and he said, why me? Damien is upset and find out that. And honestly, Damien is upset because he found out that he's the Antichrist, and Mark wondering why he's not speaking, asked why he's not speaking, and Damien said go to sleep. Mr. Parisian call. Sorry I'm not saying these names right. Please don't judge me. And also, sorry about what I say about the Whore of Babylon. That was in the Bible. I am not. I do my research, okay? Don't judge me. Honestly, he's not there at the moment, and it is all named one horse sleigh. Dashing through the snow on the one horse open sleigh. Laughing on we go, laughing all the way. Ha, 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 ha. I can't help it. I can't help it. Okay, guys. Now Richard wondering why he calling. Honestly, there are 3 killings. It's murder. Honestly, Paris is actually wondering why there are 3 killings in one day. And Paul doesn't want to shut it down. It's actually the Davis military field trip to the foreign factory. They actually see work, and Damien give a look to Parisian. Now it's actually time for her hats. It's her hat time, and tell you ask about sexual attraction. I am not joking. And Paul talk about the work and the chemicals feel hungry. Feed the world's hungry. Now the chemical leak. After the valve breaks, and one worker died of poison at 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 50 seconds. They all left, but David Parisian dies of poison too at 1. William Holden turned down the original Holden because he didn't want to film about the devil. After it made a success, he made sure not to miss the sequel. Yeah. William Holden don't want to miss the sequel. The director drama My Colleges was originally directed but fired due to creative differences. Don Taylor took the scene factory factory and military school where kick the Hodges footage. No stunt doubles because Lou Ayres performed most of the own watery death stunts of moments His character disappeared under the thin ice. Leah Grant tried to talk about it. What the? Yeah, I had. Though it's set up in New York, film took place in Chicago and part of Wisconsin. The sleigh ride scene where Richard and that's actually Eagle River, Wisconsin. Damien age debate. The director wanted Damien to be 15 to explore love interest subplot, emotional conflict. Extract the force is honestly, to tell you the truth, they just make him tone down and make him 12. Yeah. The gas leak scene, directed by Hodgson, before he actually replaced a few scenes, the survive the director swap. Prouty's death of one the poison was quietly horrified with no ability. It marks a Damien influence. The popularity of Damien plummeted after this film and its predecessor. Damien lived last and he was in coffin. It did affect him and they were going to do the test. And surprise, Cain was actually going to do and his blood was a jackal. We actually know from the first Omen that his mother is actually human, but they to this 1978 movie, it's still the jackal until 2021, where we actually find out that she's a human. Dr. Kane will discuss the death, the elevator going up instead down, and goes straight down, and he's actually okay. That Dr. K got bisected by the at 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 49. Oh, that got hurt. Dr. Kane, honestly, he actually got discovered by the blood, and honestly, the elevator defied the physics and dark power and realism. The cable would have inherit or angle bisect someone, but in horror logic, the perfect metaphor is the truth and being these gruesome and combined suspense, gore, and payoff. The character is actually Dr. Kane in the film, but the newspaper call him Dr. Kion. And Van Winky too. He's gone, and he should let it go. He been alive. And the newspaper showed his death. Honestly, it did show his name as Kane, K-A-Y-N-E. Why? Richard told Damien was affected by the gas and doesn't know why, and Charles turned up the tap and opened the box, and the sacred ice. Well, it killed the Antichrist, and he had to. And honestly, the music is still played by none other than Jeff Goldberg, who actually still plays the music still. He locks them in and run to the... And they're having movie night, and Charles is driving, and a happy ending, but Damien didn't like it. Watching the happy ending, Charles honestly, Anne said, "Who want a corned beef sandwich?" Honestly, Richard and Damien does. It's actually Charles Warren at the door. Now Richard want to ask what he doing here. In the letter to Richard that he never got, it told that Damien is the son of the devil, and his mother is the jackal. I am not going to touch that until we get to the first Omen. It's reading, he's not reading it. Now, Richard won't believe him, and Mark does. Now Richard did read the letter and kiss Anne. Mark knows that Damien is what he is, the son of the devil. What if they actually made the new Omen that take place from the first Omen? I wonder if they do. Come up in 2026. June 6th. The 6th month, the 6th day of the 6th year. And say, you can't believe it. Now Richard say you got into it. Now Richard, you won't listen. Now they need air. Damien walks while Mark is walk. Mark see and run, and honestly tracking down, and Mark is run. Why is Mark running? He asked. Then Damien said, "You are my brother." Mark said, "No, you're not. I have no brother. You are the son. You're the jackal." Damien said, "You're right. I am the son of the desolate one. I am the son of the devil. Join me, Mark." Mark refused. Now Damien tell him, "Come with me, Mark." Then Damien just gave him a brain aneurysm caused by Damien. That is possible? 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 47 seconds. How that is even possible? Mark death. Honestly, Mark. Real life brain aneurysm is actually a cell rupture in the brain blood vessels. But is this possible? Not by another person, no. Damien, but if film logic, yes, it's possible because Damien uses telepathic power to influence it. The film implies that the body he manipulated biologically a fate, that especially when emotionally provoked. And Mark death is the more resistant that he's the only person that Damien kills emotionally conflict, and rather strategic, because, well, this is the only death Damien actually regrets in the whole Omen franchise, because Damien regretted killing Mark. Mark was his brother. And this is his only role. Lucas Donat, I'm trying not to butcher his name, never act again in his own major world. And this scene is actually an emotional complex series because it contrasts a brotherhood with destiny. This one Damien regrets because he like a brother, he screamed, and Richard is upset that Anne screams and Richard upset that honestly they actually play, and Damien's disciples, Paul and Ned, come on down. And Anne and Richard believe it. Honestly, to tell you the truth, Richard is actually Now Richard actually going to see Charles to help him, and Damien with Anne. He actually went to Reverend Weston, and Charles refused to speak or eat, and Charles speaks to him, and he actually sees Damien in the walls. He actually believed that Damien, and everything is on the railroad. I'm working on the railroad on the good happy day. I'm sorry, I can't help it. I actually want to do that. It's a force of habit. They on it, and honestly, Charles is actually scared to go in it, so Richard go take a look. And the train cars move, and Richard is seeing Damien face, and Charles actually seeing a crush between two railroad cars. At 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 49 seconds. The scene was filmed practically with effects of miniatures to simulate the crushing impact. Nicola Pryor delivered the most most frantic performance in this sequence. The rail yard set in the industrial dread, cold, mechanical, and unstoppable. Everything falls after he dies, and everything breaks. And Richard saw that this Damien, and Damien graduated from the academy, and he's honored. And honestly, he actually got Anne, and now honor in Northeast, and honestly, they're going to bring and Murray going to bring Damien to the museum. Now Damien did this, and think he crazy. He actually say he not human, and tried to. He told the truth, and honestly, and not believe him until honestly she actually stabbed him with 2 daggers. That's cold. At 1 hour, 42 minutes, 48 seconds. Oh my god. I just realized something. Damien just made Anne a apostle. I mean, his devoted follower. But Anne just got burned alive in the boiler room 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 50 seconds. Damien killed them all, and honestly, the fire burned the boiler room. And honestly, the police come and Murray come, and the boiler room with such a false puzzle and disciple them into the Christ. 2 Corinthians 11:13, and the movie ends. What actually happened? Why and honestly, Richard got betrayed. Show deeply. Damien got corrupted. Those around him, even those that who protected him. And her death is a punishment and cleanse. Damien wants to erase all his power. Damien doesn't physically kill Richard or Anne. He manipulated the events. The daggers, these are the only thing that killed the Antichrist, passed down from Kalburheg. The final confrontation takes the Forum Museum surrounded by artifacts of prophecy, reinforce the biblical scale. The quote that Damien walked out the fire trucks and the police. The film ends with 2 Corinthians 11:13. For such are false disciple working, transforming them into the apostle of Christ. Me, it frames Damien rise as a warning, evil disguised as the righteous. How many lives lost did Damien take? Let's find out and get to the numbers. Join me for epic lives lost horror movie reviews and tears of scares and media traitors. 11 people lost their lives in Damien the Omen II. 8 men and 2 women. More men than women. More than the original, which have an even split. With 107 minutes, but lives lost for almost the hours. Almost the hour of 9 minutes and 0.72 minutes. With the great acts of execution go to Dr. King. We got a lot here that deserve it, but this one actually is more like a brutality of death, like cut with cables. And honestly, I actually like how they actually add the death. The Whippy Axe goes to Mark. I said my original body count, Marion get, but Mark actually is not convincing to a death. Died from a brain aneurysm. That's it. The Omen, Damien the Omen II was released in 1978, and they released another Omen until 1998, until the Omen 3, the Final Conflict, or the Final Conflict, where Damien is not even played by the one that I actually mentioned, John Barrymore. He actually played by a different actor. And I also will do Species 2. And also I said in Species that is coming up that it's actually my birthday week next week. I didn't lie, I thought it was my birthday week. Please don't judge me. I'm sorry I actually say it. I actually make these videos a day ahead, and also I actually made these earlier than I made these earlier, so if you actually see them, I'm actually working on my next month's videos, not this month's. Not this month's. Have a good day, guys. Bye.